No one expects to walk into a place of business and institution where they've made an appointment and arrived on time only to be treated as if they were invisible. But that's exactly what happened to Walter Jennings on a quiet Tuesday morning in April. A man who had spent his life building things with his hands, planting seeds, and harvesting the results with dignity, now found himself standing in a bank lobby feeling like an unwelcome intruder in a place where his word, his time, and his presence didn't seem to matter. Walter was 65 years old, a third-generation rancher from Pine Hollow, a small rural community nestled at the edge of the Smoky Mountains. He was used to early mornings, muddy boots, and weather barns. His hands were thick, scarred, and permanently calloused from decades of work fencing, herding cattle, maintaining machinery that had been patched up more times than he could count. He wasn't a man of many words, but when he spoke, people usually listened. Except today. He arrived at Evergreen Ridge Bank, the branch in downtown Knoxville, Tennessee, precisely at 9:50 a.m. for his 10 o'clock appointment with branch manager Elaine Stratton. He had never met her before, but her name was printed clearly in the appointment confirmation email. He had a leather briefcase, in one hand a gift from his late wife on their 30th anniversary. Now scuffed and cracked, but deeply cherished, Dan wore his cleanest flannel shirt tucked into dark jeans. He even trimmed his beard that morning, hoping to look respectable, even though he wasn't the kind of man who put much stock in appearances. The lobby was immaculate, gleaming marble floors, stylish pendant lighting, and a scent of espresso and lemon polish drifting through the air. Walter hesitated as he stepped inside, tipping his hat slightly before approaching the receptionist. "Good morning," he said in a soft but steady voice. "Name's Walter Jennings. About at 10 o'clock with MS. Stratton." The woman behind the counter barely looked up. She was in her early 30s, perfectly dressed, her hair flat-ironed into a precise bob. Her nameplate read Brittany. She offered a curt nod, tapped a few keys, then responded, "You're on the list. Please have a seat. She'll be with you shortly." Walter nodded, removed his hat, and settled into a leather chair near the tall windows. Sunlight streamed through the glass, casting soft shadows across the glossy floor. He placed his briefcase on his lap and waited. And waited. At first, he paid little attention to the minutes ticking by. After all, delays happened. He'd lived long enough to understand that. But when 10:30 rolled around, and he'd seen two other customers arrive, one in a tailored suit, the other in high heels and an Hermes scarf only, to be immediately greeted and ushered past the frosted glass double doors, a discomfort began to gnaw at him. By 10:45, Walter leaned forward, resting his forearms on his knees. He noticed the receptionist was laughing softly at something on her phone, showing it to a nearby coworker. She hadn't looked at him once since his arrival. At 11 o'clock, Walter approached the counter again, hat in hand. "Excuse me, ma'am. Just wondering if MS. Stratton's running behind." Brittany didn't bother standing or even making eye contact. "She's with another client. It won't be long." Walter clenched his jaw slightly. He knew that answer wasn't true. He had seen 3 clients already head back since his arrival, all of whom had been in and out in under 20 minutes. Still, he nodded politely and returned to his seat, choosing to believe, perhaps naively, that the system was fair, that maybe she had her reasons. But at 11:30, when a young man in polished shoes and a sleek charcoal suit arrived, greeted Brittany with a warm "Hey girl," and was immediately whisked past the lobby without even being asked for his name, Walter stood up again. "Excuse me," he said once more, firmer this time. "I've been here almost an hour and a half. I had an appointment." That young man just walked in and didn't wait a second. Brittany blinked, then sighed dramatically. "Sir, MS. Stratton is busy. You'll be called when it's your turn." "But I had a scheduled time," Walter replied. "At 10. It's nearly noon." "She's finishing up," Brittany repeated, her tone flat and final. Walter's cheeks flushed, but not from embarrassment, from something more complicated. He felt small, unimportant, as though the soil-stained history in his hands didn't count for much in this polished world. He sat down again, but this time his grip on the briefcase was tighter. His eyes didn't wander. They locked on the frosted glass doors. Every time they opened, every time another customer strolled through, the message was clear. This place wasn't made for him. At 12:15, he made his decision. Walter stood up slowly, adjusted his hat, and walked past the counter, past the artificial smiles, past the scripted apologies straight to the frosted doors. Brittany finally looked up. "Sir, you can't go back there." Walter didn't stop. His boots made soft thuds against the polished floor as he pushed open the door. Inside, a quiet corridor stretched left and right, lined with private offices. He scanned them, and there she was, Elaine Stratton, seated behind a large desk, typing on a keyboard, her phone in hand. She wasn't with anyone. She hadn't been the whole time. Walter knocked once on the frame, then stepped inside. "MS. Stratton," he said, calm but unmistakably resolute. She looked up, surprised. "Mr. Jennings," she replied, her brows furrowed. "You should have waited to be called." "I've been waiting," he said. 2 hours. Elaine's face tightened. "You can't just walk in." "I've got every right," Walter said, his voice never rising but gaining gravity. "I made an appointment. I arrived on time. I sat there quietly while a dozen folks walked past me. I was ignored. Now, I'm here, and I expect some damn respect." The room fell silent. Elaine was about to respond when the door opened again behind Walter. "Walter Jennings?" a man's voice said. Walter turned to see a tall man in his 60s wearing a navy suit with subtle gold cufflinks. His face was lined but sharp. His presence quieted the room. "Walter, I thought you were meeting with Elaine," the man said with an apologetic smile. "I am Donovan Shaw. I'm the regional director. What's going on here?" Walter turned fully toward him. "What's going on, Mr. Shaw? I've been sitting out there for 2 damn hours while everyone else in his suit gets fast-tracked to the back. And I'm starting to think that folks like me don't belong here in your eyes." Donovan blinked, glanced at Elaine, then motioned toward the hallway. "Come with me." They entered a large conference room with a long, polished table. Donovan gestured for Walter to sit, then followed, folding his hands. "I apologize, truly. That shouldn't have happened." "I'm not looking for an apology," Walter said. "I'm looking for an answer." Donovan nodded. "You deserve one, and you're not wrong. These institutions, mine included, sometimes forget that wealth doesn't always wear a tie." Walter sat back, exhaling deeply. "I don't want special treatment. I want fair treatment. And you'll get it," Donovan promised. "Starting now." True to his word, within the hour, the loan paperwork Walter had brought was not only reviewed, but personally handled by Donovan himself. As the meeting wrapped up, Donovan stood. "You made a statement today," he said, "and I hope everyone out there hears it." As Walter exited the conference room and made his way back through the lobby, Brittany didn't say a word. She simply looked up, her cheeks pale, her lips tight. But Walter didn't stop. He nodded once and stepped outside. The sun had shifted in the sky. A soft breeze rustled the branches along the boulevard. He pulled his phone from his pocket. A notification blinked across the screen. "Loan approved." Walter smiled, not because of the approval, but because of what it meant. Not just for him, but for every person like him. He wasn't invisible. Not anymore. And from that day forward, neither was anyone else who walked through those glass doors carrying their dignity in calloused hands.